All right, the latest numbers are out, and even more states are now reporting cases of the measles. Why? We're going to break it down for you. All right, come on, people. Vaccinate your children. I know I'm going to get some angry tweets about this, but we now have evidence these vaccines do not cause autism. And here is why this matters. The number of measles cases in the U.S. has now exploded to at least 228. And I want to put that number into perspective here. All of last year, there were 372 reported cases total. So these new numbers from the CDC came in just within the last hour, and the agency says right now, these are the 12 states that have reported cases of this highly infectious disease. I want to bring in Dr. Daria to talk about this, author of Mom Hacks, because you're really talking about why this is exploding and the warning you have for parents. Tell me about that.
Yes, absolutely. So as you mentioned, there's this new study of 600,000 children that showed absolutely no connection between autism and MMR vaccine. The problem with measles is that it's 95% contagious. If you are in a room with somebody who has it and you're not vaccinated, you have a 95% chance of catching it. And as soon as the numbers of vaccines fall below 90%, we have outbreaks, which is what we're seeing.
So here's the deal. You're on a plane, you got someone sitting next to you, the air you're breathing, and it's not just kids getting the measles, it's adults too. But the implications here is they can give it to children who have not been vaccinated, right?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of times adults are traveling to other countries, like you mentioned, they're bringing it back. And some studies have suggested if an adult got their vaccine in the 1960s, they were using a different kind of vaccine then, they may need to get a redose. So it's good to talk to your doctor about that too.
Important warning there. And here's why this matters, folks. There is a boy, a 6-year-old boy in Oregon, who nearly died after getting tetanus. You might know this condition. Obviously, you do, Dr. Daria. It's called lockjaw. And just as in many cases of the measles that we told you about, doctors say this boy was not vaccinated. Take a listen.
Tetanus vaccine is somewhere between $24 to $30 a dose, and this would have been prevented with 5 doses of that vaccine.
Yeah, this child spent more than a month in ICU after all was said and done, an $800,000 hospital bill, and the parents still chose not to vaccinate him. Now, this happened in 2017, but we're just now learning about his story from a newly released case report from the CDC. So, Dr. Daria, still with me here on this, because we want to talk about how he could have gotten this and whether or not he was at an increased risk because he wasn't vaccinated.
So 100% he was at an increased risk. Tetanus is a bacteria, and it's everywhere in the soil, which is why we vaccinate people. So since he wasn't vaccinated, he got this disease, which, 1, he nearly died. 2, as you mentioned, it's lockjaw. It is muscle spasms. He went through a horrible ordeal, and it was entirely preventable.
Yeah, I want you to take a moment, and if you could just look into the camera to speak directly to those parents who say, I still don't want to vaccinate my kids. I'm still not comfortable with it. What would you say to them?
For one, I say, where are you getting your information? We know that anti-vax information is coming from anti-vax scams on Facebook and groups that are profiting from fear. I'm a parent myself. I know that I also worry about things that are out of our control. But for us parents, this is not one of those things that are out of our control. We can help, we can keep our children safe, and this is how to do it. I do it myself. This is how all parents can keep our babies safe.
Dr. Daria, such an important warning there for parents and the misinformation that's out there. Can you just break that down for us? Because you hear, you know, well, I saw it on Facebook. How do we know if we have a reliable source?
So exactly. So if you saw it on Facebook, tense can be a problem. Facebook is trying to crack down because they know there are these anti-vax scams. And just if you look at the data, I'll tell all parents, since 2001, there have been dozens of studies. Even a study funded by the anti-vaxxer movement found no connection between vaccines and autism. And there's not been a single one that could find a connection.
Yeah, I mean, to get a trusted source, Dr. Daria, as you are, we appreciate your insight on this, author of Mom Hacks. Congratulations.
So welcome
on
back.
your new book. It's so good to see you. I'm a huge fan of the book as well. All right. And also, we're going to have you stick around because there's this jaw-dropping lawsuit. Have you heard about this? A family of a woman who was hit and killed by a car is now blaming the driver's Whole30 diet for that fatal crash. Can you sue for dieting? We're going to talk about it in my next hour.